On the night of December 27, 1993, the holiday season was still casting a peaceful glow over Manhattan Beach, California. But that peace was about to be shattered in the most tragic way imaginable. Officer Martin Ganz of the Manhattan Beach Police Department was on patrol, a routine he had performed countless times. He was a dedicated officer, known for his commitment to keeping his community safe. That evening, he was accompanied by his 17-year-old nephew, who was riding along to get a first-hand look at the life of a police officer. It was a chance for a young man to see his hero in action, a night that was supposed to be about learning and inspiration. As they drove, Officer Ganz spotted a man acting suspiciously near a bank ATM. Trusting his instincts, he decided to perform what seemed like a standard traffic stop. The man was driving a beat-up sedan, and Officer Ganz pulled him over. He approached the driver's side window, likely intending to ask a few simple questions and assess the situation. This was the kind of police work that happens every day in cities across the country. It is often uneventful, a minor interruption in someone's day. But on this night, the man behind the wheel was not an ordinary citizen. He was a dangerous criminal with a violent past, and he had no intention of cooperating with the law. In a sudden, horrific turn of events, the driver produced a handgun. Before Officer Ganz could react, the man opened fire, shooting the officer multiple times at point-blank range. As Officer Ganz fell, mortally wounded, the attacker turned his attention to the police car. He fired several more shots into the vehicle, targeting the young man in the passenger seat. Miraculously, Martin Ganz's nephew survived the terrifying ordeal, but he had just witnessed the brutal murder of his uncle. The gunman then sped away, leaving behind a scene of unimaginable horror and a community that would forever be changed by this senseless act of violence. The initial moments after the shooting were filled with chaos and disbelief. The first responders arrived to a heartbreaking scene. They found a fellow officer, one of their own, tragically killed in the line of duty. The news sent shockwaves through the Manhattan Beach Police Department and the entire community. Officer Martin Ganz was not just a badge and a uniform. He was a friend, a mentor, and a protector. His death was a profound loss, a stark reminder of the dangers that law enforcement officers face every single day. The quiet suburban street had become a crime scene, and the search for a cold-blooded killer had just begun. The investigation into the murder of Officer Martin Ganz began immediately. It was a massive effort, fueled by a deep resolve to bring the killer to justice. Detectives from multiple agencies joined forces, knowing that a man who would murder a police officer was a threat to everyone. The first crucial pieces of evidence came from the crime scene itself. Ballistics experts carefully examined the shell casings left behind by the shooter's weapon. They determined the bullets were fired from a 9mm handgun. This ballistic fingerprint would become a vital link in connecting the killer to other crimes that had plagued the South Bay area. Eyewitnesses also provided critical information. Officer Ganz's nephew, despite the trauma he had endured, was able to give investigators a description of the shooter and his vehicle. Other witnesses who heard the gunshots or saw the car speeding away helped to create a clearer picture of the suspect. A composite sketch was created and circulated widely, plastering the face of the wanted man on television screens and in newspapers. The community was on high alert. The police department received thousands of tips, each one meticulously followed up on by detectives who worked tirelessly around the clock, determined to find the man responsible for this terrible crime. The investigation took a significant turn when detectives began to notice a pattern. A series of violent bank robberies had been committed in the area by a suspect who matched the description of Officer Ganz's killer. The robber, who had been nicknamed the cowboy by the media because of the hat he sometimes wore, also used a 9mm handgun. Investigators hypothesized that Officer Ganz may have unknowingly interrupted the suspect as he was planning his next robbery. The ballistics evidence confirmed their suspicions. The shell casings from the bank robberies were a perfect match to those found at the scene of Officer Ganz's murder. The pieces of the puzzle finally came together with a crucial tip. An informant told police about a man named Roger Hoan Brady, a career criminal with a long and violent history. Brady matched the physical description, and investigators learned he had access to a car similar to the one seen leaving the crime scene. They placed him under surveillance, gathering more evidence to build their case. The net was closing in. After weeks of relentless police work, investigators were confident they had found their man. The stage was set for an arrest, bringing them one step closer to getting justice for their fallen colleague. The arrest of Roger Hoan Brady marked the beginning of a long legal battle. The case against him was meticulously constructed by the prosecution, built upon a mountain of evidence gathered during the intensive investigation. The trial began, and the community watched closely, hoping for a verdict that would honor Officer Gans's memory. Prosecutors laid out their case, piece by piece, for the jury. They presented the powerful testimony of Officer Gans's nephew, who bravely recounted the horrifying events of that night. His account provided a direct emotional link to the crime, leaving a profound impact on everyone in the courtroom. The scientific evidence was equally compelling. The ballistics experts took the stand to explain how the shell casings found at the murder scene were an exact match to those from the series of bank robberies linked to Brady. This evidence was undeniable, creating a solid link between Brady and the weapon used to kill Officer Ganz. Furthermore, prosecutors presented evidence from Brady's car and home, which tied him directly to the crimes. They painted a picture of Roger Hoan Brady not as a man who made a single mistake, but as a calculated and violent career criminal who had terrorized the community for months. Throughout the trial, Brady maintained his innocence, but the evidence against him was simply overwhelming. His defense attorneys tried to challenge the credibility of the witnesses and the validity of the forensic evidence, but their efforts were not enough to create reasonable doubt in the minds of the jurors. The prosecution had successfully shown that Brady was the cowboy robber and that he was the man who had so callously taken Officer Gans's life to avoid being captured. The community waited anxiously as the jury began their deliberations, holding their breath for the outcome of this deeply emotional trial. After careful consideration of all the evidence, the jury reached its verdict. Roger Hoan Brady was found guilty of the first-degree murder of Officer Martin Ganz, as well as multiple counts of bank robbery. The conviction brought a sense of relief and closure to the Ganz family, the Manhattan Beach Police Department, and the entire community. The subsequent sentencing phase addressed the severity of his crimes. For the murder of a police officer and his violent crime spree, Roger Hoan Brady was sentenced to death. Justice had been served, but the pain of losing a hero would remain forever. Today, more than 3 decades after his tragic death, Officer Martin Ganz is remembered as a true hero. His legacy is not defined by the way he died, but by the way he lived and the dedication he showed to his community. He is remembered as a brave officer who made the ultimate sacrifice while protecting the public. The Manhattan Beach Police Department ensures that his memory is never forgotten. His name is etched on the California Peace Officers Memorial, a permanent tribute to his service and sacrifice. His photograph hangs in the station, a daily reminder to his fellow officers of the high cost of their commitment. The community also continues to honor his memory in many ways. A memorial was erected in his name, a quiet place for reflection where people can go to pay their respects. A local park was also named after him, the Martin L. Ganz Memorial Park, ensuring that his name lives on for future generations. These public tributes serve as a constant reminder of the man who gave everything for the safety of his neighbors. Each year on the anniversary of his death, a solemn ceremony is held, bringing together family, friends, and colleagues to share memories and honor the life of a man who was taken too soon. Officer Gans's story is also a powerful educational tool. It is often shared with new police recruits as an example of the unpredictable dangers of the job and the importance of vigilance and courage. His final act, stopping a suspicious person, was an act of proactive police work aimed at preventing a crime. Though it had a tragic outcome, it highlights the bravery required to confront danger head-on. He is held up as a model officer, one who was deeply committed to his duty. His sacrifice underscores the risks that all law enforcement officers willingly accept every time they put on their uniform and go out on patrol. The tragic tale of Officer Martin Ganz is a story of heroism, loss, and justice. He was a dedicated public servant who was senselessly murdered while doing his job. The determined investigation that brought his killer to justice is a testament to the resolve of law enforcement to protect their own and the communities they serve. While Roger Hoan Brady sits on death row, the memory of Officer Ganz lives on as a symbol of courage and sacrifice. He is, and always will be, remembered as a hero who laid down his life for the safety of others, a legacy that continues to inspire and resonate to this day.